Hello everyone, it's February week 2 and time for the Recycle, Repurpose, Reuse, Use Your Scraps / Trash to Treasure prompt in the Facebook group, the Mixed Media Emporium. And for anybody who wants to follow along with our prompts and challenges, I'll leave the link to the Facebook group in the description box below. Now I'm going to do a page in this journal here, and as you can see we've got lots of vintage style pages, and I want to do something a bit different today. I want to try and do something where Whimsical meets vintage. Now this was something that Marina Hopkinson shared with me a few weeks ago. She messaged me with a video that she'd seen on Pinterest and said, you know, thought this would be right up your alley. And so I thought I'd give it a try today. Now I've got a security envelope here with a window and some washi tape, and what I'm going to do, and this I think is going to be a bit fiddly, I'm going to apply my washi tape on the inside of this window here, and I'm going to try and butt it up to the paper as best as I can. I'm going to have to do a bit of jiggery pokery around the corners because I want to keep those rounded edges, but you can see that I'm just applying my washi tape like this. So chop it off with the scissors. Now you see I'm a bit long, so I'm just going to have to roll this this back a bit. In fact, actually I might be able to just trim it now that I've done that. And I think this is where it's just going to be a little bit fiddly. And I'm going to grab my smaller scissors just to try and create myself a rounded edge. And I'm just going to keep going all the way around my envelope. And this is the hardest part. It will get easier from here on in, or at least I hope it will anyway. There we go. That wasn't too bad. Next, I'm going to use a Sharpie marker, and I've got one of these wide chisel nibs here. And I'm just going to add some lines all the way around, going round the corner as well. I think we've probably got room for one more. Now the next step is to cut this envelope out like this, because I only want the one side of it. You'll see what I mean in a second. Let's trim this down to a more manageable size. So that's all I want. And before I do anything else, I just want to peel the washi tape away. Where's the best place to start? And I'm just going to peel it off, being careful not to tear anything. But you can see that it's starting to look nice and neat on the inside now. So I'm just going to peel the whole area away. So I'm going to keep these bits because we've got some nice pattern here, and I'm sure we can use that as a background for something else. So my next stage is just to cut around the outside of my security envelope, and I want to create myself a vase to put some funky flowers in. So I'm just going to cut around the edges, rounding the corners. And then this last edge here. And we're almost done. Do you remember these flowers that I made a few months ago? I want to fill my vase with some of these flowers and leaves. So I'm going to chop the top of my vase off. How do I want to do this? How big does it need to be? I'll cut it like this to start off with, and if I need to trim it down to fit my page later, then I can do. But I'm just going to use some of these pretty flowers. Could maybe have an orange one, and perhaps let's find a nice blue one. And I just want to make myself a nice vase of flowers. And then I can tuck in some of these leaves. Choose a couple of these, and maybe one over here, and then find a way of making myself some stems. So I'm just going to have a look in my journal now, because I did find a page. I wanted to work on a plain page, and I've decided I want to work on the other side of this piece of ledger paper here. So I'm just going to take that out of the journal so that it's easier for me to work on. And I want to find something to create a nice vintage background. I've got a piece of vintage ledger paper here dating back to 1853, and I'm going to take a piece of this and cover the whole of this page, and I'm just going to use a glue stick, I think, to glue that on. I've just tucked a piece of parchment paper under the inside so that I can apply my glue to the outside of the piece of paper. I think that's the easiest way of doing it. Just making sure that I get glue absolutely everywhere. And then I can take my ledger paper, let's get rid of that, and just pop it down to my paper. Let's line it up with the edge here so that we don't have to cut that. Less trimming, and if I can find my bone folder, which is no doubt buried somewhere on my desk, here we are. I'm just going to use that just to make sure that that's nice and firmly attached, and then I can just go ahead then and just trim the excess away. I love this ledger paper so much, it's just beautiful. I'm just going to use my corner rounder just to tidy up these edges around the bottom as well. And in fact, actually, I'm going to round the inside, because otherwise that's going to really bother me. So we've got a nice background. Before I start assembling my page, I want to add some distress ink to the outside, and I'm going to use this brush just because it's a bit softer than using one of the blending tools like this. And I'm just working on a piece of parchment paper, and you can see that I use my parchment papers over and over again. Once they get sticky, I just pop them off to one side until the glue has dried, and then I just reuse them. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Now my vase is going to go onto my background like this, and I need to find a way just to position my flowers. I think they're a little bit too big. I think that's just a bit too overpowering. This one is okay, and I just wonder if I can just use this as a guide, just to cut the other two down a bit. I think my vase is a little bit too big as well, so I'm just going to chop this down. Let's go about there. Yep, you see that's much better. It was just too tall. Now I want to use some of these leaves to slot inside, but I think they're just going to be a little bit too big. I've got some smaller ones here and they're fine, but some of these are just absolutely huge. So I'm going to chop a few of these down as well to take this one to the bottom. They don't all have to be the same shape, but I want them all to be a similar kind of size. I just absolutely love how those bright colours look against this vintage background. Now I'm going to take a photograph of this because I quite like this placement, and I'll never remember how I had it when I come to piece everything together, because I need to take it apart because I want to ink around the edges. So I've taken a photograph so that I can remember what my placement was like, and I'm just going to go ahead now and ink around the edges. I might need to add something a little bit darker, I don't know, we'll see how this looks to start off with, but I think it needs it just to tie everything together. Now we've got a few areas where I'm not quite happy, they're a little bit pointy, so I'm just going to use an emery board just to smooth them out, just so that it's more pleasing to my eye. It's just easier than cutting it. And then, as I say, I need to go off and have a look and see what I can find to use as the stems for my flowers. Well, after searching and searching, I think I finally found something that I might be able to use. I've got some of this craft ribbon that I think I got from the range here in the UK. And as you can see, it's got these leaves on it, but it's wavy, which I really liked. So the shape was perfect and the colour is perfect as well to go with my leaves. So I've cut all the little leaves off, and I'll be able to use those in other projects. So, you know, those are not going to go to waste. So I just need to fathom out some kind of composition, because of course, you know, stems when they're in a vase will sort of go towards the edges. So I just need to play around with this. So I think what I'll end up doing is gluing the stems on first. The stems, I think, are good enough for me. So next I want to glue down my vase. And then I can start playing around with the flowers themselves and the leaves. So just a bit of glue just on the outside here, and let's just pop that down. I think I want it about there like that. I've glued my flowers down, and I've only added a tiny amount of glue just to the centres, just so that I can slot my leaves underneath. Just so that I just get the right amount showing. And I'm just applying glue just to the tips of the leaves. In fact, actually, no, I need to glue this one down first. Which one is the slightly larger one of the two? It doesn't really matter. This one will do. This one will do fine. Which shape do I like best? I think I'll tuck this one underneath. You see, I get really pedantic about this. It's silly, really. So I'm just going to have that one in like that, and then we can pop that one there over the top. So I'll have a bit of glue down here, and then I should just do the top ones as well. I'm just going off camera those just so that I can concentrate. I think I want to add a few splatters to this. And I'm going to use white. Let's use this one here. This is the Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. Let's put a small amount of this just onto a plate. Don't need much. That should be enough. Grab my spray bottle and let's just water that down a tad. And then grab my bone folder and let's just add a few splatters. This is like a white gouache. Oh, I like that, you see, that's lovely. Let's add a few up here as well. Not too many. And then finally, I think I'm going to add this here. It's just a dictionary word bloom. So a flower, particularly those considered beautiful, to flourish and grow. And I think I'm just going to pop that down there like that. I do think that I want to pop this up on some dimensional tape though. And of course I need to wait for my splatters to dry properly as well. I can't dry this with the heat tool because of course this is plastic and I don't want it to melt. And there we are, that's just had a couple of minutes. I've just added some dimensional tape and I just want to pop that down like that. And that's my finished page. So I'm just going to pop this back into the journal, but isn't that pretty? Something a bit fun and a bit different. I'm really happy with that page. I just love the juxtaposition of having the modern quirky flowers with the antique ledger paper in the background. I think it works. What do you think? So we've now got 2 pages in the journal and, you know, I can't wait to do more. I'll leave the link to the video showing how I made the flowers and the leaves, and I'll also leave a link to the video from the person that Marina got the idea from as well. Luby Lou seems to ring a bell. I've forgotten off the top of my head, but I will either link it on screen, but it will definitely be linked in the video description box. I'll also leave the link to the Facebook group as well. So if you want to join in with this recycle, repurpose, reuse, use your scraps, stroke trash to treasure prompt, do come along and join us. We had so many people participating in last week's Follow Your Heart prompt, and it was just wonderful to see so many different takes on it as well. So if you've enjoyed today's video, as always, I'd very much appreciate a thumbs up. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. But most importantly, thanks for watching. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.